Welcome to Warbreaker, Nerdy's Fancast.
Love this.
Are we all ready for this? Bum, bum, bum.
Y'all ready for this?
Okay, I'm just going to...
We need an acknowledgement from chat that you are ready, otherwise we can't start.
We need someone in chat to say that you are in fact ready for this.
Yeah, that's them rules. That's them rules.
Craig Jarvis says, are you saying Nightblood doesn't fit into the magic of this world? It didn't feel like it did to me.
No.
Mod says go. Mod says go. Here we go. I'm going to move this over here because it's better for where I put the photos.
Here's the thing. I don't know if Nightblood doesn't work. I just think that Nightblood did too many things.
Yeah.
It was too all over the place. I just wish it had been more specific. That's all.
All right. We are going to start. I kind of broke this up into sections.
Oh, wow. Fancy.
So we're going to start here with the POV 3. The kind of triptych of main characters. What?
I see what I was like, what is going on? Gotcha.
Yeah, so we're going to start with the POV 3. We've got Ciri, Vivenna, and Lightsong. They're sort of the protagonists of the book in how much we see their point of view, not so much in how much they do, interestingly. So we're going to start off with the first main character of the book, Vivenna, who's going to be played by Adria Arjona.
Okay.
From Andor.
Okay.
From, what did we just see her in? A Fall Guy? She's
Guy.
very good in Fall Guy. Go see Fall Guy. Fall Guy might be my favorite movie of the year, y'all. I really like Adria Arjona. I think she's a hot, up-and-coming talent who's really, really just great. I think that she would play all of the elements of Vivenna really well. And I think that she is just sort of a box office draw right now. People are excited about projects she's in.
Yeah, fair.
And I'm excited about projects she's in. So I would like to see her. I also wanted to find two actresses that could play sisters convincingly.
Yes.
That was important to me for these main characters.
Yeah.
And so my other sister, my Ciri, is Jenna Ortega. Really hot right now. Could convincingly be sisters.
I considered it. I like it.
I just think the two of them, they barely got any scenes together, but I think that you're like, oh yeah, they're a family.
Yeah. I would buy that they are family for sure. Blue,
thank you for that super chat. Are y'all going to read the first paragraph of Cradle before ending today? We don't own the book.
We don't have it yet. Wait, can you move chat more up here?
Yeah.
Blue, oh my God, Blue, thank you for that super chat. We don't have the book yet.
Yeah, we actually haven't bought it,
oh my
so
God.
we don't have a copy at the moment.
But thank you.
Thank you.
Oh no, God.
Anya Chalotra from The Witcher. She'd be a good call. Yeah, but this is my fan casting. You can do your own.
Yeah, you can do your own.
Send me your fan castings. I would love to see them.
Yeah, if you have a fan cast, put it in the Discord.
Buy it on stream, sure. Okay, we'll buy the Kindle edition on stream.
Yeah, we'll get it.
Thank you so much, Blue. That's very kind of you.
Thank you.
We'll buy the book. Shut up. Stop.
No.
We'll do it.
We'll do it. We can do that. Okay,
Third.
I like it.
I wanted someone really my original thought for Lightsong was Hugh Grant.
Right, we talked about
but
this.
He's just too old, I think, right now. But he's kind of the energy that I wanted. I wanted someone who does play that sort of aloof dick who's very funny. I needed someone with incredible comedic talent. And so I went with Rob McElhenney. Incredible actor. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is one of my favorite television shows ever. I think he's an incredible writer. He's an incredible director. Honestly, he could probably direct this movie. He's directing the movie. I think he's directing the movie If, that Ryan Reynolds is about to be in.
Yeah.
Rob McElhenney is incredibly talented, and he has the perfect vibe. He has the perfect vibe for Lightsong. Mm-hmm. He's also incredibly hot. Like, he's in great shape. I think that there's so much to play with here.
How tall is he?
He is a tall man.
All right,
yeah.
Checking.
He's like 6'2", 6'3".
I have no idea who this is. So
yeah, he's awesome. Rob McElhenney is really, really, really like insanely talented.
Yeah.
And It's Always Sunny is incredible. Mac is like one of my favorite characters. And so it's John Krasinski. They're the same person to me. They're the John Krasinski, Rob McElhenney, and Ryan Reynolds are all the same human.
I love that.
I love that I got those two confused. That's very funny. You sent me the first Kindle page on Discord. Thank you, Arzu. I appreciate that.
Arzu, thank you so much.
So yeah.
Thank you.
Then the rest of this is broken down into the 3 separate plots. Because they don't interact that much, honestly.
Right. I didn't organize shit like this. It's just
Yeah, no, I figured you wouldn't. So then... What?
Nothing.
So then we kind of have like our centerpiece for each of the 3 plots, right? And so I really wanted to build around each of those people and who would support them really well. Who would... Look, I'm not gonna lie. I think that Warbreaker is kind of boring as a book. And so I definitely leaned into people who are talented at comedy, who could maybe bring something out of this novel that I would need it to be more entertaining than what it is.
Fair.
I needed a cast of characters who elevate material and make it better than the original material. The most interesting version of what the original material could be.
Yeah.
Right? And so in that spirit, I'm going to start with King DDD. Scafandi, thank you so much for the super chat.
Scafandi,
AI or awakened computer? Can you see where I'm going with this? Was that a big enough hint as to where this is headed?
I don't get it.
I don't know.
That must be a reference.
It must be, but I don't know. Do you see where I'm going with this?
You're going to cast comedy actors.
I need a cast of characters.
Yeah.
Who elevate material that could be interesting to the best version of itself.
Are you just going to cast Rings of Power people?
No.
Oh.
King DDD will be played by Statler. It's not a huge part, and so I think that he will bring the range needed for this character to participate in sort of the... He's an asshole, you know, you don't really need to like him. He just kind of like shows up at the beginning and then doesn't impact too much.
Right.
But I think Statler, you know, he's used to being more of a critic, but I think getting him on screen for a small part would be really good.
Yeah.
And so then the second character that we meet in Vivenna's story is Lemix, who is a character who is friends with King DDD, but also betrays him, is also working behind his back. And so Lemix is, of course, played by Waldorf, who, unfortunately, we do have to watch die. Really hard to watch Waldorf die. He's such a beloved actor. But I really think the two of them kind of getting in at the beginning of the movie, and then we move on to, like, the bigger stars we move on.
No, of course.
Denth, of course, is played by Gonzo. Who else would have the charisma to trick Vivenna throughout the plot of this movie? To be the charismatic leader that we needed. And also, you know, the thing about Gonzo is he's really got decades and decades of experience in action scenes.
Of course.
He's definitely more lithe than other actors.
Yeah. He
moves quickly. Dent's whole thing is speed. So it just really feels like he is the perfect actor to play this part.
Yeah.
For Tonk Fa, I have Rolf. I think
serial killer.
A little mean to have Rolf kill animals. But I think that it will push him as an actor outside of kind of his typecasting, outside of his traditional role within sort of the Hollywood structure, and give Rolf kind of a new thing to do. I also think that Tonk Fa is not that bright, and Rolf also usually doesn't play that bright. So I think that this was a really strong casting choice.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Jules, obviously, Janice. I think that there aren't a lot of women in this cast of characters. So casting the women was definitely the most difficult. Jules, I think, is usually a little bit more bright and high-spirited than you would expect, or Janice is, than Jules. But I do think that she is sort of aloof in a way that I think plays into the character well.
I love that. Yeah.
Claude is the Swedish chef, because he's really good with knives. And so I think his ability to do the sword play that would be necessary to play Claude in this movie would be really important.
Of course.
It's really important to find an actor who has that sort of blade skill. And Swedish Chef obviously has that.
It's also the combat to look real.
You know, Swedish Chef, I love him as an actor. I think he's very talented. His mocap work in The Lord of the Rings is incredible. I do think that he's not as good with dialogue-heavy parts. And,
well, luckily.
Yeah. And so Claude, I think, is the right place to kind of fit him in here.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then Parlin, of course, you can't have a movie without Scooter. and it's gonna be sad to watch him die so violently.
Yeah, like by a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
just murdered
So
by
when
a dog.
Rolf murders Parlin, it's gonna be dark, and I think that it's gonna push him. But he just brings that like bright and shiny energy that you expect from someone who would follow Adria Arjona into the pit of hell.
Yeah.
I also think that in my version we might have them lean into the romance a little bit between those two, right? I think like they're both really hot. Scooter has incredible abs. He doesn't show them off. He's not a very vain person, but underneath his clothes, incredible abs.
I can see the shoulders.
Thank you for that super chat. Yeah,
I get it. I see the structure.
Yeah, it's under there. He
looks like a fighter.
He's a well-dressed man, and so he's also has bow training. He was almost Legolas before Orlando Bloom got that role. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
They were up against one another for Legolas, and so he did all the bow training for that movie.
Right.
And I think that the ranger part of him really brings that. I think it's smart.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Next, we get into Ciri's story. So there's not a lot of characters in Ciri's story, weirdly. There's only like 4. But we're going to start with, I believe we're going to start with Bluefingers.
Right.
And I think that this is going to surprise people.
Big bad.
Yeah, because here's the thing. I was thinking that Uncle Deadly could be Bluefingers. He literally has blue fingers, right? It makes sense. It does make sense for him to be Bluefingers.
Yeah.
But then you just know you want to hide the twist of who the bad guy is, right? You don't want it to be immediately obvious that Bluefingers is the bad guy. You want that to be a big surprise. And so breaking with his tradition, Bluefingers will in fact be played by Kermit the Frog.
Ah, yes. Famously an advocate for genocide.
Well, I think that Kermit the Frog is anti-slavery, and in a big way.
Yeah.
I think that Kermit the Frog's anti-slavery stance is really strong, and I think that it would be really apparent in this movie. And I also think that it really helps hide the twist to have Bluefingers. The other problem,
frequently a violent person.
The other problem with Bluefingers is that his fingers have to be blue, but not the rest of his body. So the Kermit,
it's just ink stains.
Right. And so if we cast someone who is already blue, calling them Bluefingers is weird.
Yeah.
So the rest of their body has to not be blue, which is why people are recommending Sam the Eagle. But no. Kermit the Frog, obviously the most decorated actor. Bluefingers having to be the twist.
He brings that nervous energy very well.
My idea for this role is that this will be for Kermit the Frog what Mission Impossible 3 was for Philip Seymour Hoffman. In that villain role.
Yeah. Absolutely.
On the flip side, in order to really sell that Trellides is the bad guy.
What is that?
This is Uncle Deadly. He is usually the villain in a lot of the Muppets things.
No,
No, you spoiled it!
I'm sorry.
You spoiled it!
I didn't see it.
You are the worst person ever.
I didn't see it.
Trellides sells the priests are actually the bad guys throughout the movie because you expect Uncle Dudley to be the villain. And so at the twist at the end where Uncle Dudley isn't actually the villain, I think that there's a lot of room to play with here. You get the audience against Trellides much earlier on by casting someone that they're so familiar with playing villainous characters. Uncle Dudley has played villains his whole career. So well, by the way, that I think that it's sort of like casting Lance Reddick as a good guy. You think he's the bad guy the whole movie, but you're like, oh, Lance Reddick actually played a hero for once. That's crazy.
I love that for him.
So let's get into Susebron. I had to go with someone who has just an immense, gargantuan sex appeal, right? But I also wanted to save on CGI. So I wanted to go with someone who's already larger than life.
Oh, okay.
And so we're going to go with Sweetums. Sweetums is a character who is one of my favorite characters. I think Sweetums, one of my favorite actors, playing one of my favorite characters in Susebron. I think that Sweetums is, he has so much heart. He really brings that sort of affable care while also playing intimidating.
Have a hot dog for a mouth? Or is that just bad Botox
just his mouth
and lip filler?
It might be lip filler. It is 2024.
Yeah.
You never know.
Okay. Sweetum's got some lip filler going on.
Yeah. I think that we are going to have to do a little bit about the bags under his eyes because he is playing a very young body, right?
Yeah.
And Sweetums, he's got those Hollywood years on him. And in this photo, it does look like he has a little bit of Ozempic face. But I just think that Sweetums is someone who can be when Jenna Ortega gets into the room for the first time and strips off all of her clothes and is kneeling on the ground, intimidated by this imposing presence. I feel like Sweetums is the perfect embodiment of that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, this is my Sisebron. He is the God King.
Yeah, for sure.
Now we get to the gods. Now we get to, like, other gods, Light Song Story. The most obvious one here, right?
Blushweaver?
Blushweaver.
Yeah.
We all know who's going to be Blushweaver.
Yes.
Because she's the sexiest thing since sliced pork. Blushweaver will be played by Miss Piggy. Looking incredible in this dress here.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was Anna Wintour.
I think the role was made for her.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think, like, Brandon Sanderson used Miss Piggy as an inspiration for this character.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, she's busty. She's curvaceous. You know, we don't... I think that this is a part that needs to go to someone who has...
It's hard to say no if she's, you know? Like, if she's like, have sex with me, it's tough to say no.
Who would say no to Miss Piggy?
Right, yeah. I get that.
Yeah. And so, Blushweaver, this was the easiest one. This was like my first. I didn't have to think about it. Mercy Star will be played by Bean Bunny. Bean Bunny is... usually plays more like poverty-stricken roles.
Okay.
You know, if you've seen Christmas Carol, Bean Bunny is not usually playing a higher class character. I think giving them the opportunity to stretch their legs, play higher class, play more into that, but also like have a big impact on the plot, giving their lifeless commands
and big
over
old titties.
to giving their lifeless commands over to Lightsong. All Mother will of course be Camilla the chicken.
Of course.
Camilla is
the mother.
Is the mother.
Yeah. She Camilla, is mother. She is giving mother.
Is mothering.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
And so in that way, I think Camilla is just perfect for this role, made for this role. I don't know who else would you cast in this part, right? Larimar. Now, this is where we get Sam the Eagle. I know that Sam was brought up earlier.
Yeah.
Sam's going to be in the movie. Sam is...
one of the main characters, arguably.
One of the main characters. Also, Sam is, of the troupe of actors, one of the more serious actors.
Yeah.
Really dedicated to his craft.
Could play a priest really well.
And look, you don't want him in a bigger part because, let's be honest, Sam the Eagle is not good at press. He doesn't junket well. He's not interested. He is so dedicated to the craft of acting, but he's not dedicated to the craft of Hollywood. So you got to find a part for him to like play something really well.
Yeah.
But not have the pressure of needing to go to Comic-Con.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hoyd will, of course, be played by Fozzie.
Right. The interdimensional space being.
Yeah, we need someone to tell the story in the middle, to like really do a lot of exposition. And
he's
I think
great
that
at keeping an audience enraptured.
Fozzie gets prop comedy. And so when he's whipping sand out of his pockets, I don't know that anyone could pull that off on screen.
Right.
It works on the page, but how do you bring that to the screen?
Of course.
Right? And I think that Fozzie brings that to the screen in a way that nobody else could.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah. Waka waka. Now for the real plot of the book, the people who actually matter. First up is going to be Vasher.
Oh. Fair.
I was trying to figure out a way for Vasher to not just tell people how to do stuff. Who is someone who communicates emotion well, but doesn't reveal much about themselves.
Right.
Who has historically been so good at enrapturing audiences
and keeping that mystery
going. So naturally, will be played by Animal. Now you might be wondering, how are we going to convey information to the audience if Animal is playing Vasher, right?
Right.
We have the scene with Var at the beginning. There's a lot of dialogue in that scene. I didn't put it in the thing. Var will be played by Beaker. And so that conversation will be difficult to convey information. Right? Because you'll have Vasher being like, animal, animal, animal. And then you'll have Beaker being like, me, 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 and they'll pass kind of the breath that way.
Right, because it ends up being irrelevant to the story.
In this version of Warbreaker, what's really important is having someone voice Nightblood who is able to, through the Nightblood's dialogue, convey to the audience what is being said by everybody in the room, right? And so in that manner, and in the fact that Nightblood is sort of this ancient historic evil that is trying to destroy evil, but isn't evil itself, Nightblood will, of course, be voiced by Matthew Mercer.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that is like the only logical.
Yeah, it was the only logical choice.
Right. Right.
Yeah, there's room for so many other people. Pepe the King Prawn, I think, definitely is one of the gods playing bocce ball. I think that
Right, yes.
there's definitely some people who didn't get cast this time around.
Yeah.
But in honor of Matthew Mercer being the only person cast in anything lately, Matthew Mercer will voice Nightblood and convey a lot of the information to the audience. You're welcome.
The best character, truly. That was unexpected, to say the least. I fucking hate you. I spent days on this.
Wait, really?
Yes!
I made that in like 40 minutes.
I have spent a couple hours each night for the past... I think I did like one night and then I took a break and then there were 2 nights. I literally spent hours on this. But it's fine. You know what?
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
What can I say except you're welcome?
There's some super chats.